1 e4, the young American challenger, Bobby Fischer, opens with his signature king's pawn, immediately signaling his intention to fight for the initiative and engage in a sharp, tactical battle against the reigning world champion. 1 e6, Mikhail Tal, the magician from Riga, responds with the solid and respected French defense. While known for his wild attacks, Tal was also a brilliant positional player, and here he chooses a structure that promises rich and complex counterattacking possibilities. 2 d4, Fischer establishes a classic pawn duo in the center, seizing space and preparing for rapid development. This is the most direct and ambitious way to challenge the French defense, aiming to prove the superiority of White's spatial advantage. 2 d5, Tal immediately challenges White's central control, creating the characteristic locked pawn structure of the French defense. The strategic battle lines are now clearly drawn for the rest of the game. 3 nc3, Fischer continues with the main line, developing his knight to its most active square and putting pressure on Black's center. He is ready to enter the most theoretically demanding and complex variations. 3 bb4, Tal chooses the sharpest and most aggressive system, the winnower variation. By pinning the white knight, he immediately creates an imbalance and dares Fischer to enter a tactical labyrinth, playing directly into his own strengths. For e5, Fischer accepts the challenge, advancing his pawn to lock the center. This ambitious move gains more space and restricts Black's pieces, but it also gives Black a clear target for his counterattack, the base of the pawn chain at d4. 4 c5, the thematic counterpunch. Tal wastes no time in attacking White's center from the flank, seeking to undermine the d4 pawn and open lines for his pieces to spring into action. 5 e3, Fischer logically challenges the annoying pin, forcing the bishop to make a decision. This is a critical crossroads in the opening, leading to a host of incredibly sharp and double-edged possibilities. 5 ba5, a rare and highly provocative move, the Armenian variation. Instead of exchanging, Tal keeps the pin and sidesteps, daring Fischer to trap the bishop in exchange for tactical concessions. A true psychological challenge. 6 b4, Fischer fearlessly accepts the gauntlet. He pushes his pawn, trapping the bishop but also weakening his own queenside structure. The game has now descended into a chaotic, hand-to-hand fight, exactly the kind of position Tal thrives in. 6 cxd4, Tal strikes back, ignoring the fate of his bishop. He knows that the opening of the center and the creation of a powerful passed pawn will provide more than enough compensation for the sacrificed piece. 7 qg4, a fiercely aggressive move from Fischer. He develops his queen to an attacking square, creating immediate threats on the kingside and preventing Tal from castling. This adds even more fuel to the raging tactical fire. 7 n7, the only move, but a good one. Tal develops his knight to block the threat on g7, preparing to meet the coming storm. The position is incredibly tense and complex for both sides. 8 bx5, Fischer cashes in his chips, capturing the bishop. He is now a piece up, but his pawn structure is shattered, he is behind in development, and he must face the full force of Tal's initiative. 8 dxc3, Tal captures the pawn, creating a monstrous passed c-pawn. This pawn becomes the star of the show for Black, a constant and deadly threat that will dominate the strategic landscape. 9 qxg7, an incredibly risky decision. Fischer's queen goes pawn hunting deep in enemy territory, but in doing so, it becomes exposed and cut off from the defense of its own king. 9 rg8, Tal develops his rook with tempo, attacking the adventurous white queen. He is not interested in material, he is focused on activating all of his pieces for a decisive attack. 10 qxh7, the queen captures yet another pawn, but it is now even further from safety. Fischer is walking a tightrope, betting everything on his material advantage against Tal's ferocious initiative. 10 nbc6, Tal calmly continues his development, putting pressure on White's overextended center. Every black piece is now joining the attack, while Fischer's forces remain disorganized and uncoordinated. 11 nf3, Fischer finally develops a kingside piece, a desperately needed move to try and connect his rooks and prepare to defend against the coming onslaught. The race against time is on. 11 qc7, a powerful queen move that increases the pressure on the weak e5 pawn and prepares to connect the rooks. Tal is methodically building his attack, tightening the screws on Fischer's position. 12 bb5, Fischer develops his bishop with a pin, trying to create some counter pressure and disrupt the coordination of black's attacking pieces. He is fighting back with all his might in a very difficult position. 12 bd7, Tal calmly breaks the pin, completes his queenside development, and prepares to castle his king into the heart of the storm. He shows no fear, trusting his calculation and attacking instincts. 13-00, a sigh of relief for white. Fischer finally gets his king to safety, connecting his rooks. He has survived the initial onslaught, but the dangers are far from over, especially with the black c-pawn looming. 13-00, the magician castles directly into the open c-file. A fearless decision that brings his rook into the game and directly supports the advance of his terrifying passed pawn. The battle is about to reach its climax. 14 bg5, Fischer continues to play for complications, pinning another one of black's pieces. In such a sharp position, creating new threats is often the best form of defense. 14 next 5, a tactical explosion. A thunderbolt sacrifice from the world champion. Tal gives up his knight to rip open the lines around the white king, unleashing the full power of his coordinated pieces. This is pure, unadulterated Tal. 15 next 5, Fischer has no choice but to accept the sacrifice. He bravely enters the tactical melee, knowing that one misstep will lead to immediate disaster. 15 bxb5, Tal recaptures, eliminating a key defender and bringing his powerful bishop into the attack. All of black's pieces are now working in perfect harmony, creating a storm of threats. 16 nxf7, Fischer fights back with a deep knight penetration of his own, forking the black queen and rook. He is creating maximum chaos, hoping to confuse the world champion in the tactical blizzard. 16 bxf1, Tal ignores the threat to his rook and captures on f1, shattering the pawn cover in front of the white king. This shows his brilliant calculation and focus on the ultimate prize, checkmate. 17 nxd8, the wild sequence of captures continues. Fischer's knight grabs the rook, but the tactical situation remains incredibly murky. The board is a sea of threats and counter-threats. 17 rxg5, a fantastic in-between move. Before recapturing, Tal eliminates another key white defender, opening the g-file for a potential final assault. The initiative remains firmly with black. 18 next 6, Fischer's knight continues its rampage, capturing another pawn and forking the queen and rook again. It seems for a moment that white might just consolidate and emerge with a winning advantage. 18 rxg2+, the decisive check. This simple but powerful move is the key to Tal's entire combination. It forces the white king into the open and sets up the game-ending sequence. 19 kh1, the king is forced to the corner, or it becomes a helpless spectator to its own demise. There is no escape from the mating net that Tal has so brilliantly woven. 19 qe5, the stunning conclusion. This quiet queen move is the final point of the combination, threatening mate on h2 and forcing a draw by perpetual check. A beautiful tactical idea. 20 rxf1, Fischer is forced to deal with the bishop on f1, but it is too late. The tactical sequence is forced, and he must now concede the half-point. 20 c6, Tal recaptures, maintaining the threat of perpetual check. The storm has passed, and the position has clarified into a clear draw. 21 kxg2qg4+, the final checks begin. The white king cannot escape the queen's relentless pursuit. A fittingly spectacular and chaotic end to a legendary battle between two of the greatest minds in chess history. The game is a draw by perpetual check. 1/2-1/2, the game is a draw.